Hey, what's up, everyone? On today's episode, we focus on NBA free agency, not what they could do, but what I believe they should do. Discuss the Nuggets, we discuss the Warriors, the Heat, the Bucks, a lot of teams, but one I really focused on, Los Angeles Lakers fans. You guys need to listen because there's one big move that you're not thinking about that's really more important than anything else and has more impact than anything else. And if you disagree with me, you're probably wrong, and I'll explain why. All you got to do is listen. So listen now. What's up, boys and girls? Welcome to another edition of the Tricky Guy Sports Podcast. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B. What is going on? Today's episode will be focused completely on the NBA free agency weekend that is upon us. Yes. I'm
so excited!
Yes. Chill, Jesse. NBA free agency is awesome. It is cool. It is obviously and arguably a little almost as exciting as the actual playoffs in the season because there's so many possibilities. It's kind of like opening day in baseball feel of like there's going to be moves made, there's going to be this done, and then you get to spend all offseason going like, well, now we made this trade, now we made this, and now we did that. We're going to win the whole thing. Everything's going to be great. We're going to win 10 titles in a row.
Well, then everyone loses their minds.
We'll see. But it is a good time, and there's a lot of things that are going to happen. So as the time of this recording, because of the way things are structured, I am now about 7 hours away from the actual free agency happening. And so I'll be able to react next week on kind of more exactly what went down and we can discuss that then. But today, what we can do, which is also a lot more fun for me, is me telling you exactly what your team should have done. I am just going to tell you, I'm going to look at basically there's about 6-7 teams every year now in the NBA with the new CBA and stuff. There's going to be about 6-7 teams that are going to have a legit shot at really making a run at the NBA title. And there's ones that I have that are very, very interesting to me that I'm going to tell you, I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I'll tell you what they should do.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
Fair enough, because that's how we're going to do it. So basically, each team, I'm going to tell you exactly what you should do. Now, a lot of this is going to stem as I get into it. The first domino that has fallen that we do know that is actual breaking news is that James Harden has opted into his contract in Philadelphia for $34.5 million or whatever it is, which good for him because that's, it's nice to be able to opt in to settle for $34 million.
Money.
Not all of us are that lucky, but it's actually not opting in. It's really opting out because what's happening is he is putting himself into, if you're a free agent, it's very hard for you to make moves and his market is not really as strong as he thought it was. So this allows him to be traded. So all Philadelphia has done by having James Harden opt in is put him into the trade market. And there are some fringe teams that make it kind of interesting as far as the Clippers and the Knicks. And there's maybe another team that he might go to that's been rumored that's very, very interesting. But overall, this is really, it's not, the Philadelphia 76ers is really, you were a fringe team maybe last year, but I thought you guys actually were pretty good. I don't know if I agree with this move. And let me just start here. Now, the Lakers one, I got it coming up here in a second. You're going to have to pay attention to a lot. But Philadelphia 76ers fan, with James Harden opting in and basically saying, I'm going to be traded pretty damn soon here. Maybe a little bit later, we'll see exactly when it happens. But most likely, James Harden is gone. I really don't know if that's a smart move. I know he's mercurial. I know he's weird. I know he's different. But the fact is, James Harden led the league in assists last year, and Joel Embiid led the league in scoring. That was like the first time in like 40 damn years that you had two people on the same team that led in assist and scoring.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
And I mean, other than like Nate Archibald, who did them both in the same year, I don't think that technically counts for this statistic to have two separate players on the same team lead in assist and scoring. I have to look into it, but it's very rare. And you guys made it to a Game 7. I mean, Philadelphia fans, you guys are kind of the worst, and you know it. And I really don't know how much I even blame James Harden for wanting to get out of that absolute psychotic fan base that is Philadelphia. You guys are a lot, man. You guys are a lot.
Douchebag says what?
You have to admit it. You guys know you booed Santa Claus. You guys know that you have a basically jail in Eagles Stadium because of all the fights that happen. You guys know you're loud and proud and a little bit much and a little bit obnoxious, and you maybe don't say all the nicest things in the world to even your own fan base. Ben Simmons, while being arguably one of the softest athletes we've ever had, did basically have to leave Philadelphia because you guys just ran him out, and he was on your own damn team.
S-O-F capital T. Soft.
I mean, you guys, you're a tough fan base to deal with. So without even the basketball reasons for James Harden leaving, I don't know how much I can blame him for leaving just as a fan base. You're not the easiest to want to play for, man. It takes a certain person that can actually handle the 76ers and Eagles and the Phillies fan base. You guys are kind of psychotic. I actually made a little compilation, a little ode to the Philly fan here. Not all this is safe for work, children, so cover your ears, moms and dads, if this stuff kind of bothers you. But yes, Philadelphia fan, in case you're wondering why maybe a lot of guys like Simmons, Harden, and others go, greener pastures sound nice, pun intended, but, maybe it's a little better to get out of this environment because you guys are absolutely psychotic.
Would you rather see back in Philly, Carson Wentz or Ben Simmons?
My dad's grandparents.
Carson Wentz is next.
Ben Simmons. He can literally, I won't say die because that's illegal.
Right now. And was assisting people down. My man just started throwing babies out the window. And we was catching them, unlike Aguilar and his mishaps. I like to put that out there.
Like skunks. I swear to God, I hate these so much.
Dog cheeks. That's what they are, baby.
What's the craziest thing you would do for an Eagles Super Bowl?
I'd probably kill my dog.
My grandma's about to choke, so maybe like.
Step to your foot. Now what's up, dog? Fuck you. Yeah. Let's go. Check off on it. Check off on him. Check off on him. Fuck you.
Waving a bag of white powder there at the end of the video in case you're missing this. They cut to the stands during a live Eagles broadcast and a big bag of white powder in his hand. Philadelphia fan.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Gee, I have no idea why people can't seem to want to stay in Philadelphia, why some people, can't handle the crowd. But there is a fallout to all this, all jokes aside, as far as like with James Harden. Most likely, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess the Clippers would be a interesting landing spot for him. And maybe that will happen. And that has other domino effects in other situations. So if I had to guess, he's probably going to Los Angeles Clippers. But the real story in NBA free agency, and the one I really want to focus on here, and we're going to start things off with this, teams I'm looking at as far as not what you could do, but what you should do. Los Angeles Lakers are very obviously interesting teams for all the obvious reasons. You are one of the winningest franchises of all time. You're in the biggest market in Los Angeles. It's the Showtime Lakers era, Kobe and Shaq, drama, Lakers girls, celebrities, movie stars in the stands, Jack Nicholson being there for 117 years. It's just one of the most, other than like the New York Yankees, there are very few franchises that have the panache, the attention, the constant television ratings. I mean, the fact is Lakers always usually draw. The Los Angeles Lakers are always one of the most interesting stories in sports, all the way back again, going, all the way back to Chamberlain, to Kobe, Shaq, Magic in that era, and then, to now with LeBron James. So Los Angeles Lakers, what not could you do, what should you do, and what should you focus on in NBA free agency has very little to do with what's going to actually happen in this offseason. Your whole focus, L.A. Lakers fans, your whole focus, and listen to me about this. Is this on? You need to make sure that you have a very high first-round draft pick this year and make up for the one you lost that you actually lost. The L.A. Lakers have one goal and one goal only, and that is to make up for the L.A. Lakers first-round draft pick that they lost because of the Anthony Davis trade, to where the New Orleans Pelicans can either take next year or the year after. Most likely, though, the Pelicans are going to go ahead and use your first-round pick next year. You need to get that back. That's the most important thing you got going on. I know you have Austin Reeves that you're supposed to re-sign. I know you have Rui Hachimura. I love me Rui. I love me Reeves. I think they're great. I love the Japan, infusion in sports. Showtime Ohtani also in LA doing a great thing. All that stuff's fantastic. All that stuff's wonderful. But you have one job and one job only. That is to make sure that you have a high first-round draft pick next year so you can go get Bronny James so you can keep LeBron. That's all you really need to worry about right now. And I don't know how much Pelinka can say this out loud, but the actual fact is, if you do not draft Bronny, LeBron is gone. And if that is not I don't know what's more important if you're the L.A. Lakers and you look at what happened this last year as far as almost making the finals, kind of thinking we're one or two pieces away. The center of your universe, if you're a Lakers fan, is LeBron James, and I promise you, wherever Bronny goes, LeBron is going. If you do not go out of your way to make sure that you draft LeBron's son Bronny, he will be gone. Your franchise will be done, at least for the next couple years. It's all going to be just poof.
And it's gone.
I mean, this is really, and I don't know how much they can say out loud, but losing that draft pick next year, while it did acquire you Anthony Davis, is now become such a, oh my God, what did we do situation. And it's such a unique, weird thing because honestly, like, who could have predicted that LeBron's son was going to even be good enough to be considered in a first-round draft pick? But the latest mocks, just so you know, and I mean, yes, some of this is because he is LeBron's kid and he gets a lot of fame and attention, but he's McDonald's High School All-American, Bronny, on his own right. He's going to go play at USC as a one-and-done next year, and the mock drafts have him going around 17 or 18 in the first round. I mean, that's impressive.
What does that do? Does that blow your
He's
mind?
a good player. And so what happened, though, and the reason I'm bringing this up is that after that mock draft came out, there was a tweet that LeBron brought out that was then liked with a sunglass emoji by Trae Young of Atlanta. This was huge. So he puts out on a tweet, and you can read this for yourself. After that mock draft came out, King James, well, ATL shouty, the James gang will be pulling up. And then Trae Young underneath says, talk soon. So, I mean, this has been one of the worst kept secrets in NBA, that LeBron is, he's a great dad. I don't like LeBron for a lot of things, but he's a great father. He does a lot of great stuff for the community. He's a good dude. Like, I'm not against what he does off the court. It's really more the lack of a killer instinct and stuff we don't need to really get into here. The more important thing is, though, is that LeBron is really, really, really focused on more than a championship. He is more focused on getting that year with his kid, and I can't even blame him. I mean, the fact is, most of y'all put him up at GOAT status anyways, no matter if he wins another title in the first damn place. And who, as a father, would not want to play a year with their kid? And it's such a unique thing. The NBA usually don't see this. You usually don't get the opportunity in the NBA. This isn't baseball where, the dad can still be a DH or something and just kind of play here or there. This is one of the most athletic sports in arguably all of sports. So to have the opportunity that is so rare, where LeBron came out of high school and is just such a genetic freak, he's still, relevant at his longer age. Longevity is always going to be LeBron's legacy. The ability then to have a kid who's just as good and have the ability to play with each other is very cool. I'm not mad at it. I'm really not. So all this combined, he is going to go where his kid goes. And he said pretty much as much over and over and over. And in case you don't really get how much it's important to him, listen to this. This was from last year when Bronny committed. Does anyone remember this? Bronny committed to USC last year. This is just after the Lakers, unfortunately, beat the crap out of my Warriors. And in postgame, they were asking him about his kid. If you can't tell, hear, and see his beaming pride, this is a big deal. This really is.
Bronny in the building, gonna stay here. We saw USC, just the pride that you have in him and everything that goes into that.
One of the best days of my life. First of all, congratulations to Bronny on his decision he made. I'm super proud of him. Our family is proud of him. For me personally, it's even more special to me because it's the first time someone out of my family to go to college. Obviously, I didn't go to college either. So it's just a proud moment to see my son go to college, and he's the first one to go to college in my family. So super duper proud, super emotional, but just super, super duper excited and happy for his journey. And today was a proud day. I couldn't lose today. No matter the outcome of this game, I couldn't lose today personally. So, but I'll take this cherry on top with this dub, though.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
There you have it, folks. He's super duper proud. He's super duper excited. He's a super duper poop scooper of a dad. He really, you can see it. If you know LeBron's history, growing up, he didn't really have a father figure. It's obviously very important to him that he is one for his kid. And for all the things I don't like about LeBron James, the idea that he wants to spend a year, a very special year, a very unique situation that he can actually have a chance to contend with his own kid, I am not mad at all. Not mad at it at all.
I like that idea, and I will support it.
So you have to understand, Lakers fans, he is going where his kid is going, and you do not have your first-round pick next year. It is most likely going to be taken by the Pelicans. I doubt that they'll delay it to 2025. So while all the other stuff is great, while signing Reeves is important, while getting Rui is important, while figuring out what you're going to do with D'Lo is important, if you don't have your argued GOAT, I don't know what else you're going to do for the next few years that's going to make you a legitimate contender. He's going where his kid goes, ergo, you make sure you get his kid. I mean, the logic there is pretty sound if you ask me. And also, do not start some of the nonsense some of you guys are going to say to me. First of all, you're going to say, why would you waste a pick? Why would you waste a pick? Stop that. Just stop. That is so, for a lot of reasons.
That's dopey talk. That's dopey dum-dum talk.
For a lot of reasons. First of all, and I'm going to invoke the name. If this was still like Michael Jordan, let's say Michael Jordan, not Wizards Michael Jordan, don't even go there. Michael Jordan at the end of his last dance. That's probably where LeBron and Jordan, if you're going to compare the two athletically, career-wise, that's probably where they're both at as a comparable situation. You know, LeBron now is basically where Jordan was at like 97, 98, kind of at the end of his tail, but still probably has a couple good years left where he can really still be very, very impactful. If any team in the NBA during that era knew that if you drafted Jordan's kid and by ergo you got to keep Michael Jordan, every team would have done it. Without question, without fail, anyone would have had a chance to keep Michael Jordan. They would have done everything they can to keep Michael Jordan. End of story. So if LeBron is better, and I'm going by your logic, Lakers fan, LeBron fan, if I'm going by your logic, LeBron is better than Jordan, right? LeBron is the greatest of all time. If any team in the NBA would have been salivating at a chance to take Jordan's kid as a prospect in order to make sure that they kept Michael for 2 more years, then why does that logic not apply to your supposed GOAT? I mean, the fact is there's no way, and I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm telling you right now, there's no way any NBA team would have ever let Michael Jordan go, not named Jerry Krause, that big fat idiot, under any circumstance, if they still had a chance to get a prime level Michael Jordan.
It's the only argument I need, Sean.
So if you are not wasting a pick, even if you were wasting a pick, you're not wasting a pick. I mean, the fact is, Bronny is a good prospect. He's a good player. I mean, he's, again, a McDonald's All-American. He's playing at USC. That's not a small program. He has been mocked on his own right to be 17th, 18th, and he's the son of a pro. And a lot of y'all don't really, of all the things you do to analyze what could be a possible this or a possible that, or this sleeper here or this sleeper there, more and more and more, I really think people need to pay attention to. If you're the son of a pro and the just level of training, professionalism, of understanding what it takes early on, it's not a mistake or it's not a fluke that a lot of the greatest all come from someone who had someone as a role model before to go see and learn from. I mean, you just go down the list of a lot of, legends in a lot of sports. Steph Curry, son of a dad that played in the NBA. Klay Thompson, son of a dad who played in the NBA. Patrick Mahomes' dad played professional baseball. The Manning family, from Archie to Peyton to Eli, there's a big connection there. The Ripkins in baseball were also royalty. Barry Bonds was the son of his, a good baseball player, and his dad too. Ken Griffey Jr. was the son of a pro. Kobe Bryant was the son of Joe. McCaffrey, son of a pro. I can go down to this legend that is the son of a pro athlete, and it should make common sense to you. The fact is, from day one, they're going to have the access to things that most kids don't. They're going to have the genetic access, obviously, that most kids don't. But even maturity-wise, understanding, just elite level training and stuff, it should make sense in a lot of different ways that should be, I don't know why that's not higher. I don't know why that's not higher in the things that are discussed of how a prospect could work out or should not work out. The fact is, his parents and his background, and if he was raised in a professional environment, that he will most likely make as well a good professional athlete. So there's that alone, there's his talent, but again, you get to keep LeBron. I mean, he's going to leave you if Bronny was wherever Bronny goes. So how is any of this? I don't understand. How is this a waste? What are you talking about?
Just don't get it, do you?
You don't.
And I mean, first, and not to mention the idea too that you guys with this my precious with draft picks, you understand a lot of first round draft picks do not work out. That most first round draft picks, even great first round draft picks, lottery picks, do not work out very, very commonly. Did you know this? That from 2001 to 2011, and the statistics have gone a little up and down on this, but for 10 years, not that long ago in the NBA, 20% of lottery picks did not make it to their second contract. 20% of lottery, top 1 through 14 picks, did not make it into their second contract and did not play more than 5 or 6 seasons.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
So the idea that I'm presenting to the Los Angeles Laker fan base, which is to go out of your way to figure out whatever you got to do to get a top 1 through, I would say like, 10th through 12th pick, something like that, secure the idea that you can keep him, is so valuable. I mean, waste a lottery pick on that? Yes. You still have a 1 in 5 chance that it could be completely useless. Here were some of those draft picks through the years, and tell me if you wouldn't traded any of these guys for the opportunity to keep LeBron at somewhat still in his prime and a prospect in his son. Would you have had a hard time saying goodbye to number 6 pick in 2011 Jan Vesley or number 10 pick Jimmer Fredette? Would you have had a hard time saying goodbye to Epe Udo or Xavier Henry at number 12 in 2010? In 2009, would you have had a hard time saying goodbye to number 2 pick overall Ashamed to beat Johnny Flynn, Terrence Williams, 2008, Joe Alexander, 2007, there were 5 draft picks that ended up being completely useless in Greg Oden, Eugene Lin, AC Law, Julian Wright, and Al Thornton. I do not think anyone other than maybe their parents would have a hard time saying, I would now, with a crystal ball looking back, have easily given up those picks in order to keep LeBron and his kid, who could be good, without even hesitation. So, wasted pick. You're stupid on that take for a lot of reasons. I mean, the fact is he is good. He is the son of a pro, which is important. And the good chance, too, there's a 20% chance it wasn't going to work out in the first place. This is one of the safest, smartest things you can do if you're a Lakers franchise. And if you don't do it, you're stupid. Not to mention, you can still get talent. And a lot of talent now comes from way later in the draft, that unexact science that has become the NBA draft. You do realize the NBA Finals was led by the 30th pick in Miami and Jimmy Butler, and the 41st pick and the MVP in Nikola Jokic. I mean, it wasn't like it was 1 versus 2 as like the top lottery picks going against each other. The NBA Finals in the end was led and was competed by a number 30th pick team led Miami Heat and a number 41st team led Denver Nuggets to win the whole damn thing.
Damn, Daniel.
I mean, Jokic was picked during a damn Taco Bell commercial. So I'm going to move on, and that's all I wanted to say about that. Lakers, there are other things you need to focus on, I guess, in the near future. But to me, there's really no bigger story, because if you lose LeBron, you lose your chance for the next few years. I really don't see how that's going to end up working out in any way, shape, or form in your favor if he's gone. He's going to leave if Bronny leaves. Ergo, you must keep a high draft pick and get one for next year. You need a high first-round pick to secure Bronny. Make sure you keep all that together. And you got a chance. You really do. You have a legit chance for the next few years to be relevant. There you go. All right, moving on. I want to talk about Milwaukee. I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, because you're a different story to me. You don't need to make any moves in free agency. If you're a Milwaukee Bucks franchise, please understand and look at me when I'm telling you this. You don't need to do anything other than run it back. The only thing you need to do is go keep Brook Lopez. That's it. You're done. Basically, you're ready to rock, other than like little roster moves here or there. But as far as the important things that you need to do, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you just go get Brook Lopez and make sure that you secure his bag and make sure you keep him for a long time. He is worth every penny, by the way. Brook Lopez is worth he might be the darling of NBA free agency. Everyone's talking about, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. There's these bigger, sexier names. To me, the biggest get, and the one that the team that can't let someone go, is Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks. He deserves big boy money. Whatever you got to pay him, Milwaukee, keep him. Because everyone knows about, the fact that even though he's very, very big, and he's a true big center, that, he's still a great three-point shooter, which in today's league is just so coveted. He's actually also a very good defender. I don't know if a lot of people realize how good he is on both sides of the ball. He is a true 3-and-D center. How many times do you get to say that you have a 3-and-D center? Not a small forward, not a guard, but a true 7 foot, I want to say 270, 280. He's a big boy, man. Brook is not a small, he's not one of those kind of Draymond-ish, Kevon Looney type centers. He's a big boy.
That's a huge business.
He can hit the three very well, and he's also very strong on defense. The fact is, Lopez led the NBA in total blocks and total contested shots per 100, whatever it is, possessions or whatever. His 1,362 contested shots were 445 more than any other player in the league. He defends the rim very well. He actually helped on more drives than any other player in the league, which led to the Milwaukee Bucks having the second best defense overall in the entire NBA. And losing him, you lose your anchor, you lose your rim protector, you lose a unicorn that can shoot threes. All of that says your only job in life right now, if you're Milwaukee, is just to make sure Brook doesn't go anywhere. Chris Middleton, it'd be nice, but you could maybe make some little moves here and there. The big key is just keeping your core and running it back. The fact is, there was a lot of flukes that happened to the Milwaukee Bucks last year. You were the best team in the NBA. I mean, not just record-wise, which you were. I mean, revisionist history, we like to, think that, they really maybe weren't that good. They had proven all year, and had just come off a championship not that long ago, that they were right there and perfectly in contention. A lot of fluky stuff happened to you guys. And maybe you need to be reminded. Do you remember how bad that injury was? Because not only did you end up, it was a weird 8-seed situation. Yes, you were one of the only first seeds ever to lose to an 8 seed. It was kind of embarrassing. But the fact is, you went against the Miami Heat, and they ended up winning the entire Eastern Conference. So it's not like you lost to an 8 seed that was just complete garbage, had like a hot little run, and then flamed out. The Heat, pun intended, did not flame out. They went on and almost won the entire damn thing. So it's not like you lost to a normal 8 seed. But Giannis was hurt, and I don't know what you guys don't kind of... It's amazing how much... fan bases can be rough, man, because Giannis really, he tried his best, but you could tell. That fall, I played it. I remember playing this. Maybe you guys need a reminder how nasty that fall was. This was a nasty, nasty fall, and he's the key to your whole thing. Your best player, your Steph Curry, your Joel Embiid, your LeBron, whatever you want to call it, smashed his tailbone.
There's that injury again. And look where he falls, right?
Ow!
That's right
Ow!
on the tailbone. I mean, you could hear the thud as he hits the wood here. And he's not moving right.
Yeah,
that
look at him.
Changes everything. Again, now this Milwaukee team, again, the overall best record. He won
overall best record. And you heard Reggie Miller say it right there. This changed everything. That changed everything. The fact is, you just weren't the same from there. Not to mention firing your coach, which is chef's kiss to Milwaukee. Firing a coach who, yes, made some mental mistakes, but the fact is his brother died in a car crash that week. To go ahead and fire the guy that ruthlessly after all the success he had brought you is interesting to me. But,
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off? I don't know.
So you had a coach who might have been a little bit checked out because, I don't know, he had a family tragedy that he was dealing with. You had your best player who had a very bruised tailbone that was trying to fight through it that maybe wasn't, nearly even close to 100%. You were going against an 8 seed that ended up being the Eastern Conference champions that proved to not be any 8 seed like we've ever seen that almost won the entire NBA Finals. You were the best number 1 team overall. You had home court advantage, and now your solution is, because of one bad playoff run after you won a championship just 2 years ago, is to make big decisions and big changes is stupid. It's truly stupid. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a dumb idea. Go keep Lopez, just run it back, you're fine. Matter of fact, let me tell you real quick, Milwaukee Bucks fan, before you get too goofy about we need to make a big splash and we need to do this, I even thought getting rid of the coach was just ridiculous and cruel and unnecessary. But let me tell you a story of the 85 Lakers.
Yeah, okay. Here's the story I'm going to tell you. It goes a little something like this.
I'm a little older, a little grown in tooth here. So the 85-86 Lakers, this is I believe, comparable, necessary thing for you guys to know in case you don't know. So in the early 80s, the Lakers had won their last championship in 1982. They had won a couple in 3 years. They were feeling good. And then suddenly, for a couple years, they kind of fledgled a little bit. The Boston Celtics, I believe, got one, then the Sixers. So after a title run where it looked like they had a really bright future, they had a couple years where things kind of didn't pan out. And then 85-86 happened, and that was truly a almost game-changing series because in the playoffs they went against the Houston Rockets, and Ralph Sampson in Game 5 to eliminate the Lakers made one of the most miracle tip-in shots you're ever going to see with like 0.4 seconds left. It truly was a fluky series and a fluky finish. So the Lakers at that point had won a title just recently, a couple years ago, but didn't look exactly the same, had lost to a team that they shouldn't have lost to in the playoffs. And at that point, they were truly at a crossroads here of like, well, Kareem's getting older. Do we need him to go make a big splash? Do we need to go make a big change? They didn't do a damn thing. The only things they ended up doing, they started AC Green, they moved him to the starting lineup, and they drafted Michael Thompson. But they didn't make a big move and trade Worthy or let, Kareem go or try to see, they didn't do anything crazy. They just ran it back because only 1 out of 30 teams end up winning the NBA title every year. They kind of understood that was goofy. They used it as motivation. They came back and then they won back-to-back titles, almost won a third right after that when they lost to the bad boy Pistons. And you are no different. You are very, very similar. Milwaukee Bucks, you are very similar to the 85-86 Lakers. This year was a fluke. You're fine. Just do it again, and you're done. And I mean, really, just get Lopez back, and you're done. Listen to your best player. This was, to me, one of the best speeches in the history of speeches. After the season was over, they asked Giannis, was this season a failure? If you don't want to listen to me, listen to your MVP. Listen to your best player here. I mean, these words were very poignant.
Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh, my God. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports.
Got any arguments with anything he just said?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
I mean, Milwaukee Bucks, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to Giannis. You bring back Brook Lopez, you go ahead and run it back. It was a fluke year. You lost to the 8 seed that never should have been an 8 seed that almost won the whole thing. Your best player got hurt. Your coach was distracted because of a family tragedy. There was a lot of weird stuff that went down, just like the 85-86 Lakers when they lost to a Houston Rockets team that they shouldn't have lost to. When they didn't panic, they went back to win back-to-back titles. You guys remind me a lot of them. You still have a bright core and a bright future. Just go ahead and do exactly what you did this year, and just hopefully you won't run into the weirdest amount of circumstances that you ran into in that first round against the Miami Heat, and you'll be completely fine. Moving on then to another team here, the Denver Nuggets, the NBA champions. All I'm going to say about y'all is same thing. You also need to not make any big moves. I don't think losing Bruce Brown, if you do lose Bruce Brown, is really that dramatic. I just don't. He obviously had a nice series, and I'm glad for him to get his bag, but he's not something that is so unbelievably inconceivable, impossible to replace that you don't know what you're going to do and you need to panic and you need to freak out. I don't think he's that level. Yes, he did very good, and I'm sure you guys will miss him, but I don't think you should go too crazy.
Well, then everyone loses their minds.
If he ends up disappearing on you. There are other guards, and that's really the only move if you're Denver, is maybe try to get a point guard behind Jamal Murray. You're thin at that spot. There are going to be some available. You don't have access, or you could have access to the $5 million tax level exemption if Bruce Brown does go. So even if you lose Bruce Brown and you're the Denver Nuggets and you're the defending champions, obviously, with your young core and everybody under contract, you should be fine. So the little bit of move you could make there, I would actually let Bruce go. There's 1 or 2 names that would be very interesting to me. One, unfortunately, is Dante DiVincenzo, who's going to lead the Golden State Warriors, which sucks because he actually is a very, very good player. He could be very useful in that Bruce Brown role. The other one is Alex Caruso, and the Chicago Bull, former L.A. Laker. I would be very scared if I was not a Denver Nuggets fan if you were able to get Alex Caruso and then just run the whole thing back. Get some ring chasers. It's going to be a little different. You're going to have the bullseye on you now that you're the champions. And other than that, though, you're fine. other than your fan base not really knowing even why they care about you. Thought this was hilarious. This was during the championship celebration. This is how used to Denver is to having the Nuggets as something to care about. The lady asking some kid.
I'm going to start with you. Why do you love the Denver Nuggets? I don't know. Okay, not quite sure, but we do love your jersey. We do. Okay, Jeremiah.
Yeah, so, I mean, other than having a fan base who, goes out and cheers for you and doesn't even know why. You are the defending champions. You have your entire core. All you really need to do is replace Bruce Brown, who's most likely is going to leave. I would say either a DiVincenzo, a Caruso, hell, a Schrader, maybe a Gabe Vincent if he becomes available. You guys are good. You also, the biggest story to you is just do what you do, keep what you got, replace some little tinker here and there, maybe get a Caruso and run the whole damn thing back, and you'll be fine. I want to talk now about a team that is more important personally to me because I'm a huge fan of them, and I think there is this is a team for me that has one small move they can do. One small move they can do it. I want to talk to my team, the Golden State Warriors, and my boy Steph Curry. Steph Curry. Who, by the way, lost. Really, dude? You lost to Mahomes and Kelsey in a golf contest? Steph, what are you doing? What are you doing? Did you guys catch that at all? The match, which was actually pretty entertaining, but Steph Curry blew it. Him and Klay Thompson blew it to the pair of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Draymond Green was out there acting like an idiot because that's what Draymond does. He was, I don't know, doing what he does, third wheel to the Splash Brothers. He was like their caddy / crap talker. I don't really know what his job was that day, but he was arguing with Kelsey and Mahomes, talking a little smack a little bit. They brought up the 3-1 comeback.
Talk to him, Dre. That boy Dre all over here talking about 3-1. That boy put the dig out of his shoes all in the line. Like Joey Burrow. He's stepping all in your line. Home a year ago. Oh, you talking about 3-1. They just won Super Bowl. No, I don't care. I just won. I
love how even Steph was like, dude, they just won the Super Bowl. Why are you bringing up some... He then also Travis Kelce because he's a tight end. It's so funny to me how NFL tight ends all kind of fit the same kind of frat boy, likable, but kind of big, dumb animal stereotype. Was trying to teach him how to chug a beer. This was interesting.
I didn't think about that.
Pull it out is when that thing closes.
Not no. When you get ready to drink it. When you get ready to drink it. Wherever you kid is going to come out. All right.
Yeah. Terrible. Terrible execution.
It was right there. It was no, bro. You
still trying to blame Kelsey like he did it wrong. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Trying to chug a beer, can't even do that right. Splash Brothers losing to football players.
The price is wrong, bitch.
But unfortunately, the price is right for Draymond Green. So let me start there as a Golden State Warriors fan. The bane of my existence has unfortunately been Draymond Green. He's just a lot for me to take in sometimes. I don't like the technicals. I don't like the distractions. Obviously, I didn't like the punch. There are rumors that maybe there was more behind that. We can get to that another day. But he's loud. He's annoying. He can be a distraction. He gets suspended at the wrong time. He stomps on chest. He kicks people in the balls and gets suspended for that 3-1 comeback that he was just so eloquently trying to argue about.
He kicked him in the ding-ding.
But in the end, right now, the way things are set up, we're going to have to keep him. Draymond Green is going to most likely 90% by the time this broadcast comes out, will most likely either be announced or rumored or heavily, told that he is going to return to Golden State. And they need him because, unfortunately, with the new CBA and the way the agreements work, if you lose Draymond, you don't have the money then to go get an equal amount in return. So Draymond, you can offer like $30 million for the next few years, and if you don't do that because of the new CBA and because it would be a unrestricted different free agent from a different team, the only thing you would have left is like a $2 million veterans minimum. So it goes from $30 million you can spend on Draymond to his replacement only being like worth $2 million, and that's just not okay. So keeping Draymond thanks to the Jordan Poole trade that brought in Chris Paul, is really the only route they can go, which also, though, the Poole trade did also allow for Klay Thompson to possibly be extended. And it looks like that's the focus. It looks like the focus of the Golden State Warriors after the Jordan Poole trade was to go ahead and make sure that you lock in Klay, Steph, and Dre for about 3 more years, and I'm in complete agreement with it. Do it.
Money, money, money. Money, money, money.
There are other things you need. There are other things we got to do as a fan base and as a franchise there. But if you're Golden State Warriors, go ahead, lock in Dre for 3 more years. I would say extend Thompson. You might have that last year where he's going to be way too expensive at 37 and have to pay him like $60 million. But you keep the big 3 for 3 more years along with this 1-year rental of Chris Paul and working things in between. You will constantly be a very good team. The chemistry should be better. We got the immaturity out of the room. You got Jordan Poole into Wizards where he can do all the silly stuff he wants, take all the shots he wants, turn the ball over as much as he wants. He'll be fine. He'll have fun out there. He got his back. He's good. Golden State gets to go back to doing what Golden State does the best, which is play high IQ, unselfish basketball and do their best to be mature about it, have a business-like, very, just high chemistry, unselfishness. There's a lot of things that are a theme that unfortunately Jordan Poole did not fit, that Chris Paul's going to help fit, that bringing back Draymond, as much as I don't like him, does fit, that keeping the core together, that leadership, that veteran championship core together also fits. And there's one other little move that they can make. I love their draft picks. I love what Golden State did in the draft, especially at the 57th pick with Trace Jackson Davis out of Indiana. You're going to find out a lot how much of a steal he was at 57. I have a big prediction on that, and let me go ahead and play my psychic, because I'm telling you, I think that might be one of the best picks at 57 ever in the history of the NBA draft.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
There's also a nice point, too, because Steve Kerr loves him, and Kerr has to love you to play you. Ask Jonathan Kuminga, ask some other guys, ask James Wiseman what it's like when Kerr doesn't love you. It doesn't really matter how much talent you have. He doesn't want to play you. He's not going to play you, and that's just the way that he gets down. He's a stubborn mule, and he has his good points, but he also has his bad points.
Whatever, I'll do what I want.
And so that's going to be a nice thing there. I like also the Brandon kid we got at 17 to replace Dante DiVincenzo. It's basically almost a shot-for-shot version of what they're going to do there. But the Golden State Warriors, with all of the things that I just talked about, keeping the big 3 is important. Looks like that's what they're focused on. Getting Chris Paul and getting the maturity back in the room was very important. I would like them to have size, but let's face it, most likely they're not going to do it. There's one other little move that they can make with the little bit of money that they have as an opportunity to really give them a serious boost that maybe no one will talk about and maybe no one will find a big deal. There is a Japanese player named Yuta Watanabe. If the Warriors can go get this kid, this will be low-key one of the biggest signings in all of NBA free agency the entire season. I promise you, this kid could really make that much of a difference at the very low price, because the Golden State Warriors have like no exemptions. All they have is veteran minimums to give out. I think you might be able to convince him to come on a 1-year rental kind of situation, or maybe something very, very small, and see what you can do. But if you can get Yuta Watanabe to the Golden State Warriors with a little bit of money you have available, that would be a humongous, not a small signing, a humongous signing. Yuta's good, man. Yuta is very good. Let me show you a little bit of Watanabe's kind of bag here, and tell me that you don't think this doesn't fit like a glove with the Golden State Warriors. Look at this guy. By the way, he's like 6'9", 6'10". Kind of looks like a Japanese Lamar Odom mixed with Joe Ingles. Got that lefty stroke. 44% from threes. And look at the unselfishness, the way he works within the system, the quick release, that beautiful shot. Does have the ability to create a little bit. Again, has the size. Look at that nice passing in between on the back cut to Kyrie Irving. Young, 28 years old, runs the break well. Just a knockdown shooter for his size. Otto Porter with speed, that's younger. Think of what Otto Porter did for the Golden State Warriors a couple years ago. I mean, this is what they've been missing. Even got his bench dancing, got Kevin shaking his head. He could be humongous. So that's, to me, that's Golden State's big move. Obviously, you want to keep Draymond. You want to keep the big three together. You already made your big move as far as getting Chris Paul, getting rid of Jordan Poole. You did make great draft picks in the Brandon kid at 17. And to me, at 57, Trace Jackson Davis is going to be a huge addition there. So you almost have everything you need there. You could use some size. You're not going to get it. I'll just have to go ahead and get over that. But this guy is just big enough and just good enough and just cheap enough to make the Golden State Warriors offseason almost perfect. Go get Yuta Watanabe. I will be very, very happy with the Golden State Warriors. All right, moving on. Miami Heat is going to be obviously with the biggest story. I really think that they are going to be the biggest story because I will continue to make this prediction. They are going to get Damian Lillard.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
There is a rumor, by the way, of James Harden. And if that happens, oh no, is that not the way to go?
Oh, no.
I would even say just think of other, maybe just try to run it back or make small moves other than make a big trade to go out and get James Harden. Some people are trying to say that might actually be better because you can get rid of Kyle Lowry instead of Tyler Hero as the main focus of the trade value there, along with obviously some draft picks, because Kyle Lowry's expendable contract is still useful to a 76er franchise, and Philadelphia does not have the leverage that Portland does, because Damian likes Portland. He does love Miami, and who doesn't love Miami? But Portland has clearly more leverage as far as, we don't have to let him go. He won't be completely upset if we keep him, and so we're going to need some value. We'll probably need a Tyler Hero, maybe Strus or some other role player, and then some first-round picks, versus with Philly, you can get James Harden for, Kyle Lowry and some picks, which is not losing any of the main guys, and you still get to keep Tyler. But you bring in James Harden instead of Damian Lillard. That's a terrible idea.
Oh, no.
The Miami Heat need to go ahead and do it. They go get Damian Lillard, make this happen. I do think Damian is quietly, finally being more loud about... was that oxymoron there, quietly loud? But he really has been. I think he's been a little bit more open to the idea that, yes, I do probably, with Scoot coming in, you guys aren't going to be able to make enough moves. I am getting a little older. I love you guys. I've been loyal, but let's face it, we're not on the same path anymore. We're just not. And so he wants to go to Miami. He loves Bam Adebayo. Miami Heat could definitely use him. And if the Miami Heat can get Damian Lillard, not James Harden, if the Miami Heat can go get Damian Lillard, you got something. You got something for the next 3 years that's very, very special and could be very, very just exciting. Could be a beautiful story. I love the Jimmy Butler story. I love everything about what the Miami Heat do with all their undrafted free agents. Obviously, keeping Gabe Vincent is very, very important. This is a guy who had 29 points in the Game 3 win of the Eastern Conference Finals. This is a guy who averaged 36% from threes, averaged 11 points. Was a very good, cheap player. I think that's the free agent you keep. Max Strus, he's okay. But there's other guys that you can put that I think fill the Max Strus role very well, especially like a Robinson or something. There's small moves that need to be made, but in the end, the Miami Heat just need to go get Damian Lillard, call it a day. You give up Tyler Hero, you give up maybe some draft picks there, and whatever else you need to do that isn't named Jimmy or Bam, you get Dame, you got a great run. Maybe fan bases will stop hitting up poor Jimmy and Bam's Instagram and making all sorts of ridiculous calls and statements. This was been put on the interwebs. Both, and I think it's the same guy, by the way. Tell me if it's not. But Jimmy and Bam both have, Heat Nation is a passionate bunch.
Now, Jimmy, I don't usually do this. I don't go in people's DMs, celebrity DMs, people that are higher up and beg.
But damn it, Jimmy! Finish this shit, please! I mentally can't handle a 3-0 comeback, man! Please!
What's going on, Bam Adebayo? What's going on, dog? Listen, I'll keep this short, but
I need you to hoop, man! Please! Joker's got 30, 20, and 10 on your ass! And fight back! Now! I'm sick of it! Come on!
Yeah, the more I hear it, the more I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, and maybe it might be a joke. But the fact is, they couldn't fight back offensively because they didn't have enough offensive firepower. You go get Damian Lillard, you have enough offensive firepower. You have a clutch player. You didn't have Jimmy as your dog, as your leader. You got Bam underneath. You can keep up with the bigs. You got your shooters surrounding them. The Miami Heat would be very good to go for the next 3 years. That's it. That's all you need to do. Get it done. I think they will get it done. I truly believe by the end of the year, we're going to say that Damian Lillard is Miami Heat point guard of the future, and they got a real chance to win the entire thing.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
All right, last one I want to discuss, and then I'll get to some fun videos here. I want to bring up real quick the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are another team. You are teetering and you are playing with fire, being a prisoner of the moment and not being patient. The only thing the NBA free agency move for the Boston Celtics is patience. Chill out. You are very, very close. This is not a time to panic. And by the way, the pretty big move that you did make was significantly an improvement for what you guys needed specifically. Kristaps Porzingis may not be the vocal leader that Marcus Smart is. He may not be, quote, the heart and soul of your team, but that really shouldn't have ever been Marcus's job in the first place. That job relies on Tatum and Brown, who are growing into their leadership roles, and you guys are right there. Kristaps Porzingis is going to be beautiful for what you need. He is a unicorn-level height, shooting, very strong, could be strong on defense when he wants to be and when he needs to be. Offensively, he can go get you a bucket. He's a borderline all-star. He is a very, very strong third option. He can play defense in the right situation when motivated. He definitely has the height and athleticism to do it. So I really do think overall, talent-wise, it is a much better fit to have Kristaps Porzingis instead of Marcus Smart. But the more important thing that the Boston Celtics needs to worry about is growing as a fan base and as an organization some patience. You do not let Jaylen Brown go. You do not blow up this team. You have been right there. You have been right there. 2 years ago, you were up 2-1 in the NBA Finals, and just last year, you were a Jason Tatum ankle sprain away in a Game 7 from going back to the Finals and trying to win again. You do not blow up a team that is that close. I know all the things you want to say. Tatum's done this. Brown didn't do enough here. Also, Brown got hurt again. Tatum was hurt, but you guys want to ignore all that and just want to be kind of, again, just prisoner of the moment. Let's make big moves. And this ADD, we got to keep things moving generation. All you need to do is chill out, because the fact is, I said it a long time ago, and I'll say it again. Jason Tatum is 25 years old. Jaylen Brown is 26 years old. They are still on the way up. Not everyone won a title like a Magic or Kobe early. I've repeated this before. I'll repeat it again. Michael Jordan did not win his first title till he was 28. Steph Curry did not win until he was 27. Kevin Durant did not win until he was 28. LeBron James did not win until he was 27. Tatum and Brown are both younger than all four of those guys and have been to an Eastern Conference Finals, one game away appearance to an NBA Finals, and 2 years ago were up 2-1 in the NBA Finals. You do not mess with something that beautiful of a young core that's had that much early success and still has an opportunity. You do not screw it up for any reason, way, shape, or form. You made the big move you needed to make. You went and got Kristaps. You're good there. You'll be able to figure out the backup point guard situation. You'll be able to figure out the offense without Marcus Smart. You'll have people that will hopefully step up to be leaders vocally and emotionally. You'll be fine there. The main thing you got to do is just run it back again. Only 1 out of 30 teams win. And I'll give you one more story, and then we'll call it a day and we'll cut the videos. The fact is, you guys remind me a lot of the early Chicago Bulls. So let me tell you a story.
Yeah, okay. Here's the story I'm going to tell you. It goes a little something like this.
If you kids don't know your history, the Chicago Bulls, before they went on to win 6 in a row and became one of the arguably greatest franchises the world had ever seen, not saying that Boston's ever going to get there, but they had a young core of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and they kept losing to the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons. Matter of fact, lost them 3 years in a row. In case you want to know what it looked like, they got the crap beat out of them. I mean, the fact is, they kept going against this bad boys, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Lambiers-led psychopathic football team of a group, and they kicked their ass 3 years in a row. The Bulls kept getting close. Every year they kept saying this might be the year. They had one of the best players in the world in Michael Jordan. They had a great second option in Scottie Pippen. Any of this sounding familiar yet? And they kept running into these guys, and for 3 years in a row got their ass kicked. And every time, the fans were getting on them. Their fan base was saying, we don't have enough. We need to make moves. We need to do this. We need to go here. We need to go there. Meanwhile, Jordan finally got in a weight room. They finally matured a little bit, and they used all of the experience that they had at their young age to then prevail and go on to win 6 titles in 8 years, and probably would have won 8 of 8 if Jordan didn't decide to go play baseball and do some baseball stuff, which is a whole nother story of gambling and possibilities, and his dad died and all sorts of scary and sad stuff there.
Baseball stuff!
But the fact is that if Michael Jordan doesn't, disappear for those 2 years, they probably win 8 of 8. And the only way they've even credited they got the toughness and the maturity and the understanding of what it took to make those extended runs was that at a very young age, we got our ass kicked by the Pistons over and over. Boston, you have a 25 and a 26-year-old who are right there. You don't blow that up. You don't do it. If you do, you're stupid. You're very, very stupid. If the Boston Celtics let Jaylen Brown go and blow up this core after they just made the move with the Porzingis, I don't know what you're thinking. I really don't.
I ain't got a good brain.
Keep them, you'll be fine. All right, that's the main teams I wanted to discuss today. I think I made my overall points with each one. Hopefully, as, again, Monday rolls around, I'll be able to respond more to the actual moves that should happen or actually do happen. But today was, again, focused on just what I think should have happened. Again, Boston, stay the course. You got Kristaps, you'll be fine. Miami Heat, you need to go get Damian Lillard. Golden State Warriors, you made a lot of moves. You did all the right things. Yuta Watanabe is the one small move you need to make as a shooter. Go get him. The L.A. Lakers, I don't really care what you do. You just need to make sure you have a first-round pick next year so you can get Bronny James. Therefore, you can keep LeBron. Denver Nuggets, basically run it back. You'll be fine. Let Bruce Brown go. I'd bring in a Caruso and see how that goes. Milwaukee Bucks, just get Brook Lopez back, and then you'll be absolutely perfect. You were the best team in basketball. It was a fluke that you lost to the Miami Heat, and I don't think that happens again. So there you go. I'm done. I want to get some videos now and have some fun.
You seen it? You seen it? Don't look at me. Don't look at me, little puppet.
Have you seen this? Have you read about this?
All right, I need to do this because my voice is like kind of running out here. I think I'm running out of gas. So let me have some fun with some videos. Tricky Guy Sports on YouTube is the way to watch these specifically. Other stuff I play during the middle of the show at least has a little bit more, less of a necessity for a visual context. So if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else, I appreciate it. But for this part specifically, it's always a little bonus thing I like to do where we just play some silly stuff, has a good time with it. And so go to YouTube, Tricky Guy Sports search, and you'll be able to see this and roll right along with us. Let's start off with some ding-dong kid in his backyard. It's amazing that he made this. Hopefully he'll remember it after his concussion. Check this out. Dunk. That's kind of a dual, like, there's so much going on in that, 8 seconds. So, the basket goes in when he falls at the same time, and then his, half-awake celebration as he's trying to knock the cobwebs and the Tweedledbirds out of his brain there. There's just a lot of things going on. So let's watch that one more time. Bounces off the noggin. Bang! Makes the basket. And the weird runoff. Last time. Oh. Oof. Poor kid. All right. This is, what else do I got that's really good? The NHL hockey draft happened. That was recent. I don't know if you guys talked about that at all, or if you care. I don't. There was that Bedard. There's some guy, Connor Bedard or something. He was the number 1 pick. He's supposed to be like the Nets' Wayne Gretzky. But the fact is, I really don't care about the NHL draft. I really don't care about the NHL. And unfortunately, even people at the draft do not seem to care that much about the NHL or who they pick. Casey Price was announcing the draft pick for the Montreal Canadiens, and even he doesn't really seem to give a damn too much about what's going on because he can't even have the time to remember the name, apparently. Check this out.
Bonsoir. Le Canadiens de Montréal are proud to select David We planned it that way. David Reinbacher.
Got that great moment. You're about to be announced. You got Casey Price introducing you, and he doesn't even remember your name. And the Canadians select with our big pick. We're very excited. Montreal, we're going to get, it's the thing, the guy with the stick, and he does the hitting, and he puts the thing, Don't they have like a teleprompter or something for these guys too? Or, I mean, I know he is a hockey player.
I never learned to read.
But that was funny. The only big news, I guess, was that Bedard guy. He's supposed to be very, very good. I don't know much about him yet. I really probably won't. So we'll move on from there. That was funny to me. What else? Oh, this is good. Little League. Little League, this is softball.
Baseball stuff!
But this really happened, and it's just the ability to improv in the spot as this runner trying to make it home, just juking the catcher with the funniest. Anyways, this is pretty self-explanatory, but this is pretty goddamn funny, too. Check this out. She's rounding third. She's going for home. Caught at the plate. Oh, nope, maybe not. What's over there? Look at that. That's brilliant. You got to see that one more time. She got her with the old look over there point. Pretty smart, lady. Pretty smart.
Real man of genius.
You know that poor catcher was catching all sorts of crap after the game was over. Sometimes as a kid it sucks. You don't always make the right thing, decision. You don't always think things through in the moment, and then next thing you know, everyone's kind of laughing at you. Speaking of, and we'll call this a sports video because auto racing, right? Driving if auto racing's a sport, driving's a sport. Therefore, I can talk about this, especially because it involves another dumb kid, a father. As we did father-son earlier, LeBron and Bronny going to L.A., I thought this was a pretty interesting little video here. A father, this was apparently the very first second he allowed his son, he's trying to teach his son how to drive, and this happened within, I want to say literally the 2 seconds for the very first time he let his son turn the car keys on. Don't know if any of you other dads have a story like this, but here you go.
Come on. Go, good guess. Oh, no!
Sorry.
One more time, just in case you missed it.
Come on.
Come on, give some gas. You got it.
Go, good guess.
You got it, son. Nope. Damn. Sorry. Sorry, Dad. Yeah, no problem. You just wrecked my car, and I don't really have insurance, but we're going to go ahead and be good. Like I said, though, I am psychic. Just in case you know, I was able to go ahead and see what happens in the future here. Yeah, I used my crystal ball to look 5 years in the future. That was going to be that'll be this kid driving. So
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
Go ahead and buckle up, I guess would be all I could tell you. Let's buckle up for this weekend, see what actually happens, what moves are actually going down, and we'll come back and talk about it because that's what we do. That's what I like to do, and I hope you'd like to listen to it. All right? See you soon.